Because if you learn this skill, and I call it a skill, the skill of networking, your pipeline grows without necessarily needing to do mass automation, but you can acquire the skill. So why do most people struggle with LinkedIn? Well, they treat it like a cold sales pitch and they're not building on relationships. It's kind of like what you said. How do you win friends and influence people? Well, don't treat it like treat them like people. And they skip to the conversion instead of trying to learn more about the person. So it's a little bit more transactional than it is about relationship building. And most people, whenever I talk to them and review their messages, what are they saying? I kind of come to the conclusion that they don't really know how to nurture a conversation after the initial, hey. What do most people struggle with when it comes to LinkedIn conversations? So we got to start with what people are doing wrong before we kind of explain to them what to do right. How do you master the art of micro conversions on LinkedIn without needing to use pitching or automating? So if you kind of master this and understand how to progress and sequence out your actions, then you don't necessarily, you can still automate your behavior without necessarily needing to use mass automation or always focusing on pitching. Why this training matters. To me, this is the most misunderstood stage of LinkedIn. I've talked to hundreds of people and trained them on LinkedIn, and I always feel like most people don't grasp what we're going to go over today. And because of that, they usually either stall out or pitch too fast, meaning that they're not involved in a lot of bridging type conversations. Like I know that is your superpower that you can kind of organically do. People just don't have the results to be able to make money off of LinkedIn. And that's kind of what we want to go over today. What do you need to do to make sure that you are not everybody else, but you're kind of I like to say the signal amongst the noise, not the noise. Because if you learn this skill, and I call it a skill, the skill of networking, your pipeline grows without necessarily needing to do mass automation, but you can acquire the skill. So why do most people struggle with LinkedIn? Well, they treat it like a cold sales pitch and they're not building on relationships. It's kind of like what you said. How do you win friends and influence people? Well, don't treat it like treat them like people, I would say, is what Dale Carnegie would say. Number one, try to build bridges versus trying to find the differences. And like we talked about last time, they skip to the conversion instead of trying to learn more about the person. So it's a little bit more transactional than it is about relationship building. And most people, whenever I talk to them and review their messages, what are they saying? I kind of come to the conclusion that they don't really know how to nurture a conversation after the initial, hey. You know, you can automate engagement, but you can't really automate the development of a relationship, building relationship with people. So that's what we want to go over today, kind of hone in on how do you do that? What is the skill to be able to get better at that? So let's start with what not to do. I have a couple examples on the screen. Let's walk through them. These are some typical examples that you'll see that I'm sure are familiar to you or our audience of how people interact with one another on LinkedIn. I get these all the time, like, you know, people reaching out to me saying something like this: hi, your profile popped up on my recommendations, so I had a look and decided to connect. Are you open to that? Let's start with this one. What do you think about this one?
Oh my gosh.
You've done this one before?
I Colin, I would never.
Have you received this one before?
I have, and I've had to resort to look not based off their message. I've had to go to their profile to determine if it's of value to connect with them. It feels a little, amateur, honestly. I don't think they know why they want to connect with me.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
think they do.
I agree, which is why my first comment is that's kind of how I know that they're, you know, you like automated. It's automated because they're automating based off activity, even if it's not like either a tool or they're just doing it because they see something and they're taking action. It's not sincere. And so what I like to say is if I say yes to this, I feel like I'm about to get pitch slapped, which basically means that they're going to connect and then immediately drive to the conversion, which is why I'm hesitant to wanting to interact with this person because I feel like I'm going to get pitch slapped. It's not personal. Let's go to the second one. I see we are both in the marketing space, so I thought I'd reach out to offer a free 15-minute consultation. Would you like me to send over my calendar? What do you think about that one?
But immediately, if we're in the same marketing space, why do I need to consult with you? We're competitors, right? So I don't think that was worded very well,
Yeah. Well,
or the targeting is off. But I would be a little hesitant in accepting that one. And why do I want to? I don't even know you to be.
I totally agree. I mean, not only, I mean, I hear you on the targeting probably not being off, but let's say that I sell to marketers, right? Just because you are a marketer. I mean, the targeting might be right, but the
Mhm.
frame is bad because it states the obvious. It would be a little bit different if they said, "Hey, I see that you're a marketer working with software as a service businesses or building a, LinkedIn group, and because of that, I want to connect with you."
Yeah, that's specific.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. But I feel like they're just lumping me into like a massive market that it feels a little bit disingenuous. And then the other element that I think is really important for people to understand is that just because you are offering up your time doesn't mean that that is value to the other person. Like you said, if we don't know who you are, why do we want to meet with you? So you're jumping to the conversion way too soon. So these are just general examples, let's just say, of what people do that we just spoke about, like why that's not good. So